Well, the film is a great story of redemption and perseverance. It touches on a lot of subjects that are going on in society these days: mental health, substance abuse, the foster system, child abuse, things like that. And it's just a really, really good story about people who are on a path that they don't believe is headed in a good direction, and they end up righting the ship and being on a more positive path. I got involved because Raven came to my team with the project, and they came to me and told me the concept. I loved it and said I wanted to read the script, so I read it, and it was fantastic. So we got Raven on the phone and told her what we thought, and we made it happen.
Awesome. Now, Stephen, now your character in this movie is going through something unimaginable. So what did you tap into to be able to draw from that? Like a life experience? Can you talk to us about that?
It's very difficult for anybody to empathize with that type of life experience unless they've gone through it. And I have not gone through that, but I've had, some life experiences that haven't been so pleasant. I was actually going through a not so pleasant life experience during the filming of Finding Tony. So I was able to draw from some of my emotions that I was battling during that time to bring some emotion to Tony. Emotions that were pretty raw on the surface for me, so they were easy to access. But as far as going through what Tony went through, that was just something that I had to let my imagination go with and just try to feel it as much as I possibly could without ever having gone through it.
Okay.
Yes. Raven Magwood Goodson, you are a millennial film director who produced 2 successful films in the last 4 years. Was it always a goal of yours to become a filmmaker? And what inspired you in producing, writing, creating, producing Finding Tony? What inspired you?
Yes, it was not always a dream of mine to be a filmmaker. It kind of was a snowball effect from me publishing my first book at 12 years old. I gave my first speech at 12 for Stedman Graham, Oprah Winfrey's partner. And from there, I became an author, motivational speaker. And I just realized I love telling stories and utilizing stories to inspire people. So the book writing transformed into screenplay writing. And as time went on, I really honed my craft. I was able to become a better screenplay writer. Ended up with Haunted Trail, that was directed by Robin Givens, and very successful on BET and other platforms. And with that, I just kind of had the realization like, wow, I can do this. I can write something that people want to watch. I can produce something people want to watch. I co-directed with Robin. So, I said my next film, I want to have my directorial debut. I want to be able to direct what I've written. And that's exactly what happened. I went back to a script that I had written even before I wrote Haunted Trail, which was Finding Tony. And we got the actors together, got the investment together. And before I knew it, we were on set filming. And I'm just really glad it came together the way that it did.
Wonderful, wonderful. And for you, Anthony Davis is he's an executive producer. I want to ask you this. Finding Tony is about an orphan girl. Of course, it's a basketball story as well as a story of triumph and resilience and all of that. But I want to ask you, with the viewership and the excitement around the WNBA and women's sports and basketball, what do you think about your film having an impact on young girls maybe that go through life struggles, but they can find basketball as a way out?
Yes, I think it's perfect timing,
Yeah.
for us to have a women's basketball film in this climate. I'm very excited because everyone's so excited about women in sports. And here we have a film about women in sports. And yeah, I was an athlete growing up. I know Stephen was an athlete, and I think we both
Yes,
can
yes.
say that, sports help mold us in a way by giving us life experiences we can carry on to things outside of sports. So I know for me, it definitely did. So I really hope that this movie can inspire young girls, whether it's basketball, gymnastics, softball, whatever it is, to
Yeah.
pick up a sport and, be active, be healthy, have that team, team building and experience, because I do think sports allow us to be successful in other aspects of life, because you have to learn how to lead, how to follow, how to work with the team. And I just really hope that that translates and continues to inspire girls, and then, guys as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Stephen, can you tell us the importance of finding balance within the entertainment industry? How do you maintain your balance?
It's interesting. This is a question that I'm getting quite a bit lately, and it's going to be the same answer. It's fairly easy for me because my life is fairly spread out. I've got kids that are in sports. I play a lot of golf. I've got businesses that I'm operating, and others that I'm trying to get off the ground, and I have to stay in the moment. So I just take every day as it comes, and every activity and every task as it comes, and I just power through and get it done. I don't spend a lot of time in the quote industry. My time spent in the industry is when I'm at work, and when I come home from work, I'm just regular Stephen and dad, and a golf buddy.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very important. Now, Stephen, there's a line in this film, and I'm going to read it. It says, "The more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in war." Now, is that your personal quote, or did you add to it, or was it written to the script? Like, what's the origin behind it? It's a really profound
No,
quote.
that was on the page.
Okay.
Raven actually wrote that line. So
All right.
I appreciate you thinking it was maybe mine, because maybe I
Whole
said
athlete
it
thing,
with such conviction that you thought it was mine. But no, Raven wrote that one.
Okay.
I love it. And of course, you played professional sports, baseball, or have a sports background. Is there an example between you playing sports, baseball, and acting? Can you find some type of similarity between the two?
Oh yeah, there's a huge similarity. Baseball, I was a position player, which means I hit. And in baseball, you fail 70% of the time if you're great. Uh, and in acting, you go out for tons of auditions, and you might book, 10, 20% of the time if you're lucky. And so it prepares you to deal with that quote failure, and it also prepares you to learn how to uh, find the victory even in a loss. For example, if I'm hitting and I scorch a line drive right at the shortstop, and he catches it and I'm out, well, the layman may think that I failed there, but both me and the pitcher know that I won that encounter, because I hit the ball that he threw to me as hard as it could possibly be hit. And that's really all I can control as a hitter. So I find the victory in what is perceived as a loss. Same as in acting. If I go into a room and I absolutely kill an audition, but I don't get the job, it's okay. I did my best work, and that casting director will remember me for that. And so I'm able to find the victory even in that loss. So there's a lot of similarities and parallels. And I will definitely say that being a baseball player for my entire life helped tremendously in preparing me for this job.
Love it, love it. Raven, perusing your Instagram, we think of Instagram or social media as a community. So it's great when people share their lives that can inspire others. And complete this sentence: I love spending time with my family doing what?
It honestly can be anything. Me and my husband were laughing about this, how like even when we started dating, how we could not be doing anything but still enjoy each other so much. And I think that's when we both knew that we were each other's person.
Yeah.
And that's really just kind of how I am. Like I could be at home all day with my family and be fine, or go shopping with my mom, or, go to the range with my brother. It's just, I just love being able to give that time to my family. My dad as well, like we're all really close. So it could be anything, but I love to travel. So we do travel. I do like to shop when we travel. I'm not a huge shopper just to be shopping. But I do like that, whether it's church related, volunteering, just anything where I feel like I'm able to be my true self, and it's always around family. So yeah, nothing in particular, but everything at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Now, Stephen, I want to piggyback to the sports. How would you rate yourself as a coach in the film? And have you ever coached in real life, or would you?
I coach now in real
Okay.
life. I coach a scout team for the Chicago Cubs called the SoCal Cubs, which is high school kids, 17 and 18, juniors and seniors in high school. And every once in a while, we'll get a freshman from college coming back.
Okay.
My whole baseball career, my coaches made us as players coach younger players. Like we would coach little kids clinics and things like that. So we were always teaching the game and giving back to the game. So it's definitely something that I have done my whole life and continue to do, and definitely made me a what I'll say is a very good coach in finding
Okay.
time. I was very familiar with the shoes that he was in, and so I was able to walk in them very comfortably.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a stretch. The only thing that I hadn't done was coach a group of women.
Okay.
I have coached singular girls in Little League. I've had girls on my team in Little League. I had girls on my team in flag football when I coached 7 and 8 year old flag football team. Flag football. I had a girl on my team. The only thing that was foreign was I hadn't coached an entire team of women. So
Okay.
other than that, it was very familiar.
Always a first.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, Finding Tony is about finding your destiny in many ways. And to ask both of you, you guys can answer, what has been a moment where you found your destiny, so to speak, if you can put that into words?
I'll say for me, there's a quote that says the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. So I think I referenced the fact that I started giving speeches when I was 12 years old, which, is kind of flabbergasting to some people.
Yes.
But at 12, I knew that I was a good communicator. I knew I communicated well. I knew I would get standing ovations after my speeches, but I really didn't understand the impact that I was having on people, or the significance of what I was doing, because hey, I'm 12 years old. But I remember giving a speech at a church, and it might have been my third, fourth, fifth speech. I was just starting out, and a man was middle aged, probably in his mid 40s, came up to me after, and he said that I did extremely well, but he had tears in his eyes. So I didn't know, I was kind of confused. I'm so young. Why is this man coming up to me crying? My dad's standing there kind of wondering the same thing. And he looks at me and he says, I've tried to commit suicide 3 times in my life. And he said, I was actually going to go home after service and try again today. But he said, after hearing a 12-year-old be so passionate about life and to tell your story the way you did, he said, I promise you right here, right now, I will never try to take my life again. And as heavy as that was, it was like my world shifted. Even at 12 years old, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was in church. I look up like, God, like this is really what I'm supposed to do. You sent me here to help people, to inspire people. And now, I'm 31 years old. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, whether it's through a movie, through a book, through a speech. I just feel like I'm supposed to be here to be a light. And so that was definitely the moment I think I found my destiny. And it's kind of been the same ever since.
Wow, such a beautiful story.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that story. Stephen, about you, what has been a defining moment with finding your destiny or defining your destiny?
Well, it's similar to Raven. You're not going to see how it's similar until I get to the end of it.
Okay.
When I was 15, I was on a ski trip with my dad, and we were walking on the sidewalk up to the lodge, and there were cars parked all along the street, and I was walking on the street side, and one of my ski boots fell off of the little strap that holds them together and bounced in between a couple cars. And I went and got it, and I bent over to put it back on the boot. And just as I bent over while I was doing that, I heard the car's engine rev, and it hit me from behind and grabbed the top of my jacket and started dragging me underneath the car. It was like a Suburban, and it started dragging me, and I'm screaming and flailing for my life under that truck. And after probably, I'd say 50, 60 feet of being dragged in the snow and stuff on the ground, somebody in the street heard me and stopped the truck. I got out from under there, the ambulance came, and I walked away from that without a scratch on me, and actually skied that day and wasn't in shock or anything like that. And unknowing to me, that was the day that I knew or that I found out that I was here for a reason.
Yeah.
That was the day that God put his hand on my shoulder and said, no, not you, not yet. You got things to do.
Wow.
And after that day, I got a full ride scholarship to college to play baseball. I played in College World Series. I played professional baseball. I've become an actor. I was a surrogate twice for Bernie Sanders in his presidential runs. I've become an ambassador for Prevent Child Abuse America and Boys and Girls Clubs of America. I've done all kinds of things after that day. And so I've often said everything I do, good, bad, or indifferent, is by the grace of God, because I could have easily been gone that day.
Yeah.
Everything since that day, God left me here to accomplish. And so that was, even though I didn't know what it was, and I still may not know the full extent of my destiny, I do know that that was the day that I knew that I was meant for something, and that I should strive to please God in everything that I do.